Hi there everyone, welcome to Tech Cravers. A few weeks ago I received the Pimax Portal and I have been using it quite a bit since then. For those of you who doesn't know, it's a new Android-based handheld with the market's most high-end display ever. It's a 4K resolution QLED display, but to the naked eye, while playing it in handheld mode, that actually doesn't mean much. The reason for the display being so over the top in terms of specs is that you can actually put this screen inside a headset and dive into the world of virtual reality. And being so close to your eyes, the 4K resolution will make a difference. It also has a high refresh rate and it supports 144 Hz, although in the software you can only go as high as 120 Hz. However, I still haven't got the VR headset, so I won't talk much about that in this video. I did see Russ from Retro Game Corp's review however, and he mentioned that he got it working and that it was quite a nice experience. I'll leave a link to his review in the description, so go check that out after this. As by usual, it's a textbook example on how to review a device like this. Anyway, the Pimax Portal is not just your average retro game emulator handheld with VR capabilities. Did you also know there's even more to it? Brace yourself, because the Pimax Portal also doubles up as a Nintendo Switch or basically any other retro game console that happens to have a kid with the Nintendo Switch. And with that being said, let's talk about the controllers that came with the Pimax Portal. These controllers are pretty much like Joy-Cons, but they snap to the screen using magnets. Strong magnets. The magnetic connection is extremely robust, and as long as you hold the device with both hands you can expect a very secure attachment. However, during my extensive tests I did discover an important tip that I want to share with you. If you happen to hold the Pimax Portal with only one hand, be cautious because the magnets might not hold up, and there's a risk of the device slipping from your grasp. And with that said, let's address a common concern I've come across. Some of you were wondering if simply shaking the device could cause the controllers to detach. Well, fear not, I have tested this scenario and the magnets are so impressively strong that casual shaking or regular movements won't knock them loose. You can rest easy knowing your gaming experience won't be interrupted by any accidental controller disconnects. However, it's crucial to remember that the Pimax Portal should never be carried around by holding just one side. And speaking of the Joy-Cons, it's quite sad to mention that the coolest feature by far is also the biggest drawback. The detachable controller design, made so you can share a controller with a friend for some split screen action, also made the devs to go with this teardrop design for Dpad. This was made so that both controllers when playing horizontal should look the same, so that both player 1 and 2 has action buttons. And while I can fully understand why they went for this design, I still can't really understand why they did it. I mean, they could have just skipped the Joy-Con design and they could have went for a regular handheld instead and sell specific VR controllers for those keen on buying the VR package instead. The Dpad alone will scare off many potential customers. And with that said, I do want to point out that the Dpad is not horrible. I'm personally not a fan of it, but it can be used to play your retro game library quite well if you want to. It just won't feel as good as it would on a regular Dpad. Instead, where the Pimax Portal gets to shine, it's definitely in the performance department. The Pimax Portal runs Gamecube games in 2x native resolution or 720p without any hiccups straight out of the box. Here I am playing Super Mario Sunshine on the Dolphin emulator from Google Play Store. For some of the harder to emulate Gamecube games you might need to tweak a setting or two, but hear me out, on a Android handheld made for gaming I haven't seen this good performance in a long time, if ever. The only device I can think of is my S23 Ultra, but that's a device that costs 3 times as much as the Pimax Portal. Same with PS2 games over the Aether SX2 emulator. Basically any game I have tested runs great without any tweaks at all. Here I am playing Street Fighter 2 just to test the D-pad in some fighting games, but if you want some more PS2 coverage on the Pimax Portal, I did play some more in my first impressions video as well. Also, if you think that I'm awfully bad at fighting games, it's definitely down to the bad D-pad design, and it has absolutely nothing to do with my incredible fighting skills. Now if that doesn't impress you, maybe this will. The Pimax Portal plays Switch games without any real issues. Remember that Switch emulation over Android is still at a very early stage, but so far the Portal has proven to be really awesome at it. Here I am playing Let's Go Pikachu over the Skyline emulator. I haven't had time to test the Yuzu emulator for Android yet, but as soon as I have done that you can expect a video on it as well. Speaking of that, now would be a great time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you appreciate this type of content and would like to see more in the future. And why don't you toss in a like on this video as well for good measures. When it comes to the physical design, the Pimax Portal bears a striking resemblance to the Switch Lite. Personally, I find this similarity to be a fantastic approach. The Switch Lite's size is perfect for a portable gaming device, ideal for gaming on the go. As I compare these two devices for this video, I can't help to yearn for a pure gaming handheld without any additional gimmicks from Pimax developers. Imagine the possibilities if they had solely focused on creating a handheld device dedicated entirely to gaming. No Joy-Cons to interfere with the gaming experience and no VR capabilities to bother those uninterested in virtual reality. Furthermore, consider the potential cost reduction if they had featured a non-VR ready display. Speaking of the price, initially the cheapest model, the one you can see to the left here, was $299 during the Kickstarter campaign. Unfortunately, that's not longer the case, as you can see here. It's now priced at $369. You can upgrade it with more storage like the middle model here shows, and you can claim that for $399 if you pre-order it today. The last model, the high-end model with the QLED display and 4K resolution, costs $549, which is almost as much as the most expensive Steam Deck. Now obviously they are two different types of handhelds, but I still want to mention it just to give you some perspective. But yeah, that's been it for this brief video on my thoughts on the Pimax Portal after playing it for a few weeks. This is an incredible handheld on the performance side, and I'm really impressed on how well it handles some of the Switch games I tested. Now, obviously it's not gonna play all Switch games this good, but it's still nice to see how far we have come with emulation. This device is for anyone seeking a handheld that can run any system up to and including Gamecube and PlayStation 2 out of the box. And if you're into VR as well, you could have potentially struck gold with the Pimax Portal. I will continue to test it in the upcoming weeks, so feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions regarding this device. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching. TechCravers out.